Have you ever poured everything you had into your walk with God, praying more, serving more, trying harder to be the person you think you're supposed to be, and still felt like you were somehow falling behind? Like no matter how much you do, it's never quite enough, and you're always a little tired, a little empty, a little afraid that God is disappointed in you? Be honest, that exhaustion is real. And here's the strange thing about it. Some of the most sincere, hardworking believers are the most worn out because they're carrying a weight Jesus never asked them to carry. They think the Christian life is something they have to generate through sheer effort. And they're slowly burning out, trying to squeeze fruit out of their own strength. But in John chapter 15, Jesus says something that quietly dismantles all of that striving. It's one of the most freeing pictures in all of Scripture, and yet we rush right past it. By the end of this video, you're going to see the secret hidden in His words and why the answer to your exhaustion isn't to try harder, but to understand one thing about how growth actually happens. Here's what Jesus said, "I am the true vine, and my Father is the gardener." He goes on, "I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing." Now stop and picture what he's describing, because it changes everything. A branch does not grunt and strain to produce grapes. Have you ever seen a branch sweating, gritting its teeth, trying with all its might to make fruit appear? Of course not. The idea is almost comical. A healthy branch bears fruit almost effortlessly, not because it's working hard, but because it's connected to the vine. The life of the vine, the sap, the nutrients, everything the branch needs flows into it from the trunk. And fruit is simply the natural, inevitable result of that connection. The branch doesn't produce the life, it receives it. Its only job is to stay attached. The growing, the producing, the fruit itself, that's the vine's job. And that one image quietly destroys the whole exhausting religion of trying harder. Because most of us have been living like we are the vine. Like the fruit, the change, the growth, all of it depends on how hard we push. But Jesus says, no, you're not the vine, you're the branch. You were never meant to be the source of your own life. You were meant to receive it. But there's a second part of this passage that almost nobody talks about, and it's where the real secret lives. Look again at what Jesus says the Father does. In verse 2, he says, "Every branch that does bear fruit, he prunes so that it will be even more fruitful." Prunes, that's a gardening word. And if you've ever watched a skilled gardener prune a healthy plant, it can look almost cruel. He takes his shears and cuts away good branches, healthy green growth, things that look perfectly fine to an untrained eye. Anyone watching might want to stop him, to say, "What are you doing?" That branch was doing nothing wrong. To an outsider, it seems like destruction. But the gardener isn't destroying the plant. He knows something you can't see just by looking. He knows that unpruned growth spreads a plant too thin, that its energy gets scattered and wasted across 100 small directions, and that a plant left to grow wild produces smaller, weaker, more bitter fruit. He cuts, not to harm, but because he knows the plant will produce more, richer, healthier fruit if some things are lovingly cut away. The pruning is not the end of the plant's life. It's the secret to its abundance. Now hold that thought against your own life, because here is a truth that can reframe your deepest pain. Sometimes the things you experience as loss are actually the pruning of a loving gardener. That relationship that ended and broke your heart, that door that closed right when you were sure it was the one, that dream that quietly died, that season where things you'd worked so hard for were suddenly stripped away. In the moment, it can feel like punishment. It can feel like God is against you, cutting away the very things you were counting on. But what if some of it wasn't punishment at all? What if it was pruning? What if the gardener, who loves you and can see the whole plant, when you can only see the branch, was cutting back what was quietly draining your life so that something far more fruitful could grow? I'm not saying God is the author of every painful thing. We live in a broken world, and much of our pain comes from that brokenness. But I am saying this: the gardener wastes nothing. Even the cuts you didn't choose, he is able to use to make you more fruitful than the sprawling, exhausted, spread too thin version of you ever could have been. And here's the part that sets you free. You don't prune yourself. Read the passage again. It's the Father who does the pruning, not you. So much of our exhaustion comes from trying to do the gardener's job for him. We frantically try to fix ourselves, cut away our own flaws, force our own growth, manage every single branch of our lives through sheer willpower, terrified that if we stop striving for even a moment, everything will fall apart. But that was never your assignment. You were never handed the shears. The gardener knows exactly what to cut and exactly when, and he is far gentler and far wiser with your life than you are with yourself. Your job is not to prune. Your job is not to manufacture fruit. Your job is simply to remain. That word remain or abide is the real secret of the whole passage. Jesus says it over and over. Remain in me. It doesn't mean try harder. It means stay close, stay connected. Keep drawing your life from him instead of from your own frantic effort. A branch that stays attached to the vine will bear fruit and will be pruned toward even greater fruit, all without ever once straining to make it happen. So let's name the lies that keep you exhausted, because you've probably believed a few of them. That your growth depends entirely on your effort. That if you just tried harder, prayed longer, and did more, you'd finally be enough. That the painful losses in your life are proof that God has abandoned you. That you have to fix yourself before God can use you. If any of those have been driving you, hear this clearly. Every one of them puts you in the place of the vine, carrying a weight you were never designed to carry. And that is exactly why you're so tired. You've been trying to be the source when you were only ever meant to be a branch. You are the branch. And the branch has the easiest job in the whole garden. It simply stays connected and lets the life flow in. That's it. That's the secret. So this changes how you see everything. The tiredness you feel isn't a sign you need to do more. Often, it's a sign you've disconnected from the source and started running on your own empty strength. And the losses you're grieving may not be God pushing you away. They may be the careful cuts of a gardener who is clearing space in your life for a harvest you can't yet imagine. The invitation of John 15 is not to work harder. It's to come home to the vine, to stop striving and start abiding, to trust that the same God who is the source of your life is also skilled enough to prune it well and loving enough to only ever cut what needs to go. It's not that you need to produce more fruit. It's that you need to stay connected to the vine. It's not that the losses are punishment. It's that the gardener is making room for something better. It's not that you have to try harder. It's that you get to rest in the one doing the growing. You have spent so long believing that if you just push a little harder, you'll finally arrive. But the fruit was never yours to force. Stop trying to be the vine. Take your place as the branch. Stay close to Jesus. Trust the gardener even with the cuts that hurt, and watch a life you could never manufacture through effort begin to grow quietly, naturally, out of simple connection to him. So tonight, before you close this video, stop striving for just a moment. Picture yourself as a branch, held by the vine, tended by a Father who loves you. And say it out loud or in the quiet of your own heart. Jesus, I stop trying to be the vine. I'll simply remain in you. And if this reached the tired place you've been carrying, go down to the comments and type these words. I am the branch, not the vine. By typing them, you're laying down the exhausting job that was never yours and taking your rightful place, connected, growing, at rest. If someone came to mind while you were watching, someone worn out from trying so hard to be enough, share this video with them. It might just be the exact reminder they need today. And if you want more of these simple, freeing biblical truths, subscribe to Bible Truth, where we break down Scripture to help you resolve your faith and walk in real freedom. Thank you so much for watching Bible Truth, and I'll see you in the next one.